Okay, now I wonder if we want to grab the stats. Forget it.
Alright.
Looks like we're entering game.
Oh shit, we're already starting? Fuck. Okay, swapping in 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone, welcome to the second tournament being run by Goldwatch. This one's titled Bads2Badasses. Right now we have two teams loading up into King's Row for our first game of the day. I'm Non-Sikis and I'm joined here by Lei. We're going to be the two commentators for you this afternoon. And we're looking forward to a day of exciting matches that provide us with an opportunity to do some insight and analysis for your learning good.
So I'm going to talk about the tournament structure because it's a different structure to what we had last time. There are 4 teams: Hollow Wings, Baes, Team Flop, and Pound Placeholder. And there's going to be a winner's bracket and a loser's bracket. So losing teams have a chance to redeem themselves and make their way back up into the finals. Now, this tournament, we have a prize of $20 BattleNet gift cards. So there's motivation for both teams to do their best.
That's right. So each team has been coached by a player that's diamond or higher, and they've been spending a minimum of an hour per week for the last 2 weeks talking with the team to work out on strats and compositions. So with that in mind, we're going to launch into our first engagement here between the Baes and the Hollow Wings.
So they're taking a different defensive hold than what we usually see here on King's Row, which is directly onto the point rather than at the primary choke.
Right, so we might be seeing some issues from Bay, given that they've allowed the Hollow Wings to take statues so easily.
Usual 3-tank setup. Mistiva is making good use of her flight.
I think the Baes may have some issues here because they've given up access to the statue rather easily. However, Hollow Wings is not really taking advantage of the fact they have control of both left and right side of the statue. Their offensive Reinhardt is burning his shield. As you can see, though, Kaiser Podge has been really reluctant to put his shield up. Now, whether or not this is because he has his team spread out among Hotel and the point can be a good question. However, they are going to win this shield war without further contest. It's going to make it really difficult for Hollow Wings to push into the site with such conservative shield usage.
And a great hook by Nuclear Risk there. That's going to stop a major part of their damage.
Oh, and there's a great counter hook by Nuclear Risk. However, maybe Reinhardt gets charged through.
And the res by Bubs bringing back Roadhog. He's going to use his ult.
I'm not sure if I like that res, just simply because it was a bit of a desperation move. There was only one player down, and he was not in a good position to utilize his ultimate. And in the end, that was a push that should have been dry, but instead, ultimates were burned with no real gain. So we see some big ultimates loaded up on both teams.
Here comes out the Diva ult, and it's not going to get anyone, but it's definitely going to push them back a little.
There's a 4-man Earth Shatter that's also countered the Ana ult. So this fight is definitely turning in the favor of Hollow Wings. That tempo res is going to definitely help. There's a Diva remaining sitting on the back of the point. Her only option now is to escape, reset, and hope for...
It looks like they're going to stagger her, though. Definitely going to hold them back from being able to hold at that choke.
So the streets phase can often be a challenge for some teams to break through, as the tight fighting makes it more difficult for teams to effectively flank if the defending team is very aware of sounds of people falling back. We're looking at Baes taking high ground,
which I think is a very smart choice.
Right, it definitely provides them the opportunity to engage on. Oh, okay, that was an interesting engage by the Reinhardt. I feel like the rest of the team wasn't quite ready to follow up on that. That said, I think overall the surprise Earthshatter really left Hollow Wings reeling, and they were still wiped despite the fact the made Baes damage was not quite there to follow up.
Both teams have been making great use of their ults, though. That's a problem that a few of them had in the last tournament, is making good use of their ults, but it looks like this time they've been performing excellently. And Reinhardt's shield is just getting burned. It's not going to last very long with how much damage is being put into them.
So looking at Kaiser Podge's play on Reinhardt, he is extremely conservative with the Reinhardt shield, only utilizing it when there's an opportunity to truly shield battle. And there's another big Earthshatter coming down. Only using Earthshatter, or sorry, rather, only using his shield in situations which are necessary. It's making it very difficult for the Hollow Wings Reinhardt to contest, as his shield, being up more frequently, is getting broken much quicker. That said, a combination of ults has allowed Hollow Wings to push through Ali's phase within only 2 pushes or so. So that they're making pretty decent time considering.
What looked like to be a defensive hold for the Maze base turned out to be a successful push for the Hollow Wings.
Yeah, I think that the Mercy Res was definitely monumental in turning that fight. Having burnt the early ults, they were able to take that fight on the second round. So that was a good pick on the Hollow Wings Roadhog. I would have liked to see Hollow Wings engage a little harder with a sleep on Kaiser Podge.
Definitely, I think so.
So Nuclear Risk is landing.
Go ahead.
Nuclear Risk is landing some great picks on Hollow Wings. And so it's just continuing. That's 3 hooks in a row where he's been able to convert something out of it. I begin to wonder if now Nathan's now using his shield a little too conservatively, as his team is just getting picked straight through him.
Fortunately, it doesn't look like there's that much that he can do. The D.Va is doing a great job at eating all of his fire strikes. So, but he does seem to have his ult. They all seem to have their ults, in fact.
Right.
I can't wait to see them make good use of it.
Within about the next 10 seconds, D.Va on the Hollow Wings is going to have her ultimate as well, and we're going to see a throwdown of up to 12 ultimates. But Roadhog gets picked, and that delays another push.
I imagine what we'll be seeing is an Earthshatter and D.Va combo.
So we just saw another offensive tempo res, which... Oh, and there is a play of the game.
Beautiful ult by Shinhiro, and it looks like that's going to be able to secure them the point.
Well, looking back on that, I would say that it's very possible that what seemed to have been a positive thing with Reinhardt's shield not being used very aggressively from the Mei Baes has turned into more of a liability. It opened a lot of room up for that Earthshatter to come down.
And fortunately enough, they made great use of their ults, so that was a very clean push.
Right, the taking of the last point was essentially textbook perfect. Besides the tempo res on the Roadhog, which seemed a little odd, the rest of the push was flawless.
I see the purpose behind it, though. I'm sure she wanted to have the whole team present for the push, and I guess they were ready to do it now rather than wait for Roadhog to come back and potentially lose another.
Right, and I'm led to believe that the Roadhog was brought up simply to break Reinhardt's shield. It is a bit of a gamble, though, considering his positioning at the time of res, because being out in the open in front of the enemy Reinhardt with the enemy Roadhog available meant that he could have had that hook cancelled, or rather his ult cancelled. So I wonder if they were timing the Roadhog's hook for that res, and that may definitely be a possibility. But we'll be interested to take a look at that in post-game analysis to see whether or not that was timed, and if so, that was an excellent call by the in-game lead.
Exactly. Okay. So round 2 is about to start, and it's Hollow Wings on defense this time. So we'll see. It looks like they're going to be holding in the same position as Baes was last round, which is very interesting to me. I'm not sure why they don't hold at the choke.
Right, so taking advantage of Symmetra's strengths to hold a choke require the Reinhardt to be playing much further up alongside the Symmetra turrets. But since they are further back, it seems like maybe there's a little less confidence in the Symmetra pick. And given the placements of the traps, I feel like that might be the case. This is not a front hold Symmetra. This is more of a defensive, let's get a teleporter up Symmetra.
They're making an interesting decision here to move to the high ground rather than go through the choke that Hollow Wings probably wanted them to go through, since they had all the Symmetra turrets holding at this choke.
So we have a Tracer in the back who's able to do some minor harassment, but coming from the high ground as a Tracer, she's not going to be able to do much until the rest of the team engages and starts creating a sufficient distraction. That said, it does look like the healers are getting pushed back, and the team defending is having some difficulty with where to turn to face this oncoming Bae team.
And moving on to the point, Roadhog with another great hook. But it looks like he's going to be pinned.
So at this point, the Hollow Wings Mercy has been lost. There's going to be a pretty significant run back, but with these kills coming down one at a time, it does look like there's going to be a pretty clear victory for the Baes. I think the Lucio sound barrier may have been a little premature. I don't think it was quite necessary, as the Hollow Wings return has been quite trickled. But it does secure them the point, and perhaps they are looking to preserve the amount of time they have to push through alleys.
Well, they're going to need all the time that they get, since they didn't hold them to overtime last round. So they're going to have to secure the point with enough time for the third round.
So Hollow Wings has elected to keep the Symmetra, who just ran in and commit suicide. So I don't know if that was an attempt to switch off the hero, or if maybe there was a miscommunication as to whether there should be an engage.
It looks like it was to switch off of Symmetra, because they don't have a Symmetra anymore.
Right, so the Symmetra has been swapped off for a Junkrat, which is a reasonably effective pick in this portion of the map. However, you don't see that pick very frequently in competitive play, simply because he can be taken advantage of rather easily. The Baes aren't currently running a Zarya, but if they had been, this could make the Streets phase even more difficult for the Hollow Wings, as a charged Zarya in tight quarters is something that you don't want to poke at.
And Soldier's damage just absolutely ripping through all of these tanks, and being able to secure about 3 kills.
The payload has been traveling uncontested more or less since the capture point. I have a feeling that the Hollow Wings shot calling may be a little rattled at this point. There needs to be a call to consolidate and do a hard reset where the team can then gather their resources and then go back in to take a fight to stop this momentum. Nuclear Risk is...
The Roadhog isn't managing to pick up on any hooks, while the Baes Roadhog is doing an amazing job of hooking.
So with that sound barrier coming down, I was wondering if there was going to be some sort of hard engage, but it looks like it was just to assist the push around the corner. A large Earthshatter comes down. Counter ults are being thrown up. There's a boosted Roadhog running with a disengaging ult.
Oh, that would have been a very good Junkrat tire. Had it been made use of, but unfortunately it looks like it was destroyed. And they're going to secure the point with 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining.
So it looks like the push styling of Baes differed quite drastically from Hollow Wings. Baes were more about just brawling it out and keeping the Hollow Wings on a stagger to enable them to continue pushing without any contest, as opposed to the Hollow Wings, which were more about grouping and wombo comboing.
Hollow Wings was very thrown off when they took the high ground, and I believe that's where they completely lost control of the situation. And just ended up staggering all the way to the final point.
Right. And again, going back to the earlier mention of the need to hard reset, it was pretty apparent that there was no call on their part to stagger everyone, or rather to hold everybody back to prevent that stagger. If they had mounted a group defense, there could have been a better chance to hold off the momentum that maybe was creating. But unfortunately, it looks like there wasn't an opportunity, and now we have quite a drastic difference in time remaining for the next rounds.
But if they make a good hold, then the time remaining won't matter too much.
So given the amount of time that they have, it looks like the Hollow Wings are still running a very conventional team composition. And without some more focused damage on Reinhardt Shield, oh, there's an excellent pick here. If D.Va can be finished, there might be an opening created.
Now there's no one to eat the Reinhardt Fire Strike, so...
Another great pick. So Hollow Wings really needs to start engaging hard here.
And Bubs, a res on the Reinhardt would do mounts, but unfortunately it doesn't look like she has it just yet. But will they be able to hold here? They might be able to, it looks like. Oh, an amazing Reinhardt ult, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make use of it, since nobody else was there to help him.
The Hollow Wings are managing to keep it in overtime, so we'll see if that can keep up. However, it looks like as the last players fall, they're entering a pretty difficult overtime phase with almost 4 minutes on the clock to defend against the team they had just lost first point to within the first 2 minutes.
They're going to have to be holding with much more defensive characters than last time. We'll see if they make any changes to their composition to make up for their really difficult situation that they've been put in.
I'm wondering if we'll see a Mei pick coming forward here.
I think a Mei pick would do really well. Just for the wall, while Reinhardt's shield regenerates.
Right, so in this situation, Mei would probably be a little less useful at the front gate, as the Mei Baes did take high ground last time, but it could help with splitting the team up as they drop, or preventing them from engaging from the high ground, at least for a little bit at a time. But it looks like
they're going to be taking the high ground again. If you look at the Hollow Wings positioning right now, it looks like they're going to be going high ground. They've been choosing some really interesting routes.
So looking at Shinkiru's Symmetro turret placement, it does look like they've either heard them going to the top, or they're just predicting that they'll be using the same strategy. We have 3 of the turrets defensively placed, or rather offensively placed in the hotel, which hopefully will provide enough charge that they can get a head start on that teleporter that they'll desperately need to hold this point.
Look at that, already 35% ult with just those turrets. That was a very good prediction by Shinkiru. or Shinkiru. And it looks like they are going to be doing the same strategy as last time. We'll see how it works out for them and if the Baes has adapted to their strategy.
So it looks like almost the exact same strategy that was run last time. And unfortunately, it looks like Symmetra falls to an errant Fire Strike. This means that there's going to be a lot of difficulty from the Hollow Wings in getting that teleporter up until even later. But with the Mercy falling as well, now there is no chance for any additional reinforcements, and it does look like Baes have taken the point. We'll see how the mounting defense from the Hollow Wings can work here, but as they stagger in, it looks like there's not that much in the way.
They do have a great Reinhardt ult, but unfortunately nobody was able to make use of it. And it looks like that's going to be game over. Great job by Hollow Wings in securing the point and holding. They're going to be the winner of the first game.
So we have a final score of 4-3 in favor of Baes. It did get taken into overtime, but once into overtime, it was quite apparent that one team was a little bit more prepared in terms of strategy. I think at the end of the day, with this game, the decision-making and strategy planning that the Baes exhibited pulled them out the win. Despite Hollow Wings having better ult combo usage, as demonstrated in this play of the game, it's apparent that the shot calling may have been a little on the lacking side.
But great job by both teams, and we are going to move on to Game 2 here in a moment. And Game 2 is Team Flop versus Team Pound Placeholder on Hollywood.
Okay, so we'll be pausing the stream for a moment as we prepare the next game. We'll be back in probably about 5 minutes, so we'll talk to you soon.